Welcome to the Turd Nerds. We are the functional gastroenterology podcast discussing all things poop. Before we take the plunge into today's episode, let us tell you a bit about ourselves. I'm Dr. Rebecca Sand, a naturopathic physician and acupuncturist, and I specialize in all things gastroenterology, hormones, and fertility.
I'm Dr. Ami Kapadia, and I'm a medical doctor trained in family medicine and functional medicine with a special interest in gastrointestinal health, food and environmental allergies, and autoimmune disease.
And I'm Dr. Ilana Gurevich, a naturopathic physician and acupuncturist who is board certified in naturopathic gastroenterology. I specialize in inflammatory bowel disease, IBS, and other functional digestive disorders. Let's jump into today's episode.
The following discussion is for educational purposes only and not intended to diagnose or treat any diseases or conditions. Please consult your doctor before incorporating any of this information into your care. The information presented on this podcast is not medical advice.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hey, Turds.
So we are back for another exciting episode on specific aspects of perimenopause that we started to touch on last time. We're going to do a deeper dive into insulin resistance and the microbiome in the perimenopausal period.
Yeah, and we'll probably drop some treatments.
Probably.
No, you guys are just waiting for that. So,
I mean, that is the only reason why people listen. Let's be honest.
So I think in our last episode, be sure you tune into that because it's a ton of context on what we're talking about today, how the changes in perimenopause and menopause influence our microbiome and vice versa, how that influences insulin resistance, our hormones.
Histamine. We learned so much about histamine.
Histamine.
It was such
Is it
a bummer.
eventually going to go down again then?
I mean, the estrogen
On a side note.
inducing histamine issues goes down. When
Right.
But there's plenty of other things causing histamine.
I know.
Yeah. And we'll kind of touch on that, like aging as part of this, some of the changes we
But
see.
insulin resistance, I do think, is the crux of a lot of this perimenopausal
Yeah.
pathological state.
Yeah, a lot of us are more and more testing insulin,
Yes.
testing HOMA-IRs, testing leptin, ghrelin, these things that change during this time for people, whether we know about it or not. We just have people come in who want it. They're being more informed about it. Patients are asking for it.
Yep.
And everyone's coming in for weight gain.
Yeah.
Oh, weight
It's a
gain.
problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem.
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
And in perimenopause, it's like you're doing the same things you've always been doing. You blow up and you're like, what is going on with me? It's like a loss of control in addition to feeling like crummy in your body.
Yep. Okay, so can we explain the insulin resistant state?
Sure.
Okay, you want me to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So I just heard this phenomenal analogy about insulin resistance that I just never really heard before that really made me understand. So basically the job of insulin is to put your glucose into storage, right? Insulin is a hormone that gets secreted after you eat. And then as you eat, insulin comes out to take all of the calories and basically all the sugars that your body has broken down and put it into storage for later. Because species wise, we've been around for probably humans in their current form to around 200,000 years, right? But we've only had this abundance of calories for the last 100. So our genetics was basically built to be in periods of feast or famine. So in periods of feast, you store, eat, store. So you have stores for later, right? That's the famine section.
Yep.
We no longer have periods of famine generally. Like if you're in a Western country, all you have is an excess of calories and an excess of calories that sometimes don't even utilize insulin to make fats, right?
Yeah. And it's not only like food availability, it's like our foods are so dense.
Yeah.
High fructose corn syrup.
Or even
we're
fruit.
saturated.
Like even
our
for
fruits and veggies.
I can remember, I'm not that old. I am in the perimenopausal state, but I'm not that old. But I can remember eating grapes and there would be like 5 sour ones to every sweet one. Yeah. Now every single grape I eat tastes like a candy.
And they have cotton candy flavored grapes. It's wild. Have you eaten those before?
Yes.
I think she had
I
them
have.
once.
The first taste is cotton candy. I like it.
Oh, I can't.
They're good.
I did it accidentally. That was maybe my problem. I was like, what did I just... I don't really like
it's
sweet.
A candy.
I think they're the green ones, right?
They're green, but they taste.
Yeah, they were good.
Very strange.
Oh, they were good.
I like cotton candy, but...
I don't like
Give me the
cotton
real
candy.
thing.
I prefer cotton candy.
I can't imagine eating cotton candy now. I'm sure I ate it when I was a kid, but it's so disgusting.
I think it's a texture thing. I like
no,
foamy
just
things.
doing that to yourself. Like,
That.
Like understanding. Okay, why? So let's bring us back to insulin resistance.
Red dye, sugar. I don't know what kind of crap is in there.
I'm still on the insulin state.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
insulin.
so basically, the way you think about it is insulin is like like the analogy that I heard about, it's like you blowing air into a balloon, right? Like insulin will blow the glucose into storage in the cell. The insulin resistant stage is like, have you ever tried to blow up a water balloon? It's a lot harder and a lot more difficult to force that glucose into storage. The more glucose you have circulating around your bloodstream, the more difficult it is to go into storage. And so the insulin resistant state means that your body is putting out insulin to go into storage, but it like keeps on pushing and nothing's happening.
Totally.
You are not inflating the balloon. You are not storing that sugar. And so that sugar is acting as a secondary inflammation.
It's less responsive.
It's not, or at some point non-responsive at all.
Like
That, which means if you have more sugar floating around in your bloodstream, that is causing fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it is an inflammatory response if you do not put it into storage.
Yeah.
That is the insulin resistant state. Your body does not store the way it should. And so you are literally burning your blood vessels from the inside out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just heard recently, maybe you guys heard this too, the CDC released something like 1 in 4 adolescents has insulin resistance in the United States. Like pre-diabetes level insulin resistance.
So scary.
Adolescents.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about perimenopause.
Right.
You know, like I hope a lot of folks can get to their 40s before we have to talk about this, but not in America.
Yeah.
Because of exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
You know, like we have to be aware of this.
So what happens with insulin resistance in the perimenopausal state?
Yeah. Again, we'll divide this into like the estrogen relative dominance of perimenopause and then the decline of estrogen in late perimenopause and menopause, because things change, you know, better or worse in both. It's not the same. So let's start with the estrogen dominance or perimenopause. So we know that this drives visceral adiposity. And this, I'm going to distinguish visceral adiposity and subcutaneous and visceral adiposity. So a little bit, we start to see a little bit of visceral adiposity. That really ramps up postmenopausally though with that drop in estrogen. And this is all linked to insulin resistance. In perimenopause, though, we're going to see that increase in subcutaneous, abdominal, and total fat gain. And that is what brings patients in. They think it's visceral, but it's not. Do you guys know the difference between those two?
Explain it because it's super effing important.
It's super important.
Around the organs is visceral.
Exactly.
And why is that more important?
linked to long-term morbidity and mortality.
Why?
That's the one that's the issue. And we can't tell that from the outside.
Right.
You could
There's
have
no
a
way to
very
tell.
lean body with a ton of
ratio.
visceral. Yeah, that can help. Yeah, waist to height ratio can tell us a little bit.
scans.
Ultrasounds, looking at fatty liver.
Okay, so hold on. Let's just extrapolate on that.
Yep.
The difference between subcutaneous fat and visceral fat is subcutaneous fat, the body can actually mobilize and use.
Yep.
The body will not naturally use the visceral adiposity, which means that if we're talking about burning ourselves from the inside out and causing inflammation, visceral adiposity is simultaneously burning you and also rotting you.
But it can be reversed because fatty liver can reverse.
Absolutely,
It
but it takes so much
a lot
more
more
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's significantly. Actually, they think that subcutaneous fat is protective.
depending on where.
Okay.
So hips and butt and
Uh-huh.
legs, great. And that is one of the reasons I think Dr. Bryden talks about this in her book as well. I think you've read it more recently than I have, but that will actually help you burn fat elsewhere. On the abdomen is a different story. And again, it's not visceral fat, even though it's like looks around the viscera. It's still subcutaneous. It's just on the abdomen, which is what the kind of weight gain we get from testosterone dominance is on the abdomen. And that's one of the reasons that female bodies are more metabolically flexible because our fat deposits on our bum and our legs.
Huh.
So how do you? So the way to tell the difference between visceral and subcutaneous fat would basically be
Imaging.
to do. I mean, we do liver ultrasound, but what other? Is there other
A
specific
DEXA
imaging?
scan can show you where you're having fat deposit.
Yeah. It doesn't come with all DEXAs, but you can
No,
have it.
it's a special DEXA
Yeah.
that looks at your fat.
Yep.
An ultrasound, the waist to hip ratio can give you some interesting information about if
Yeah.
it's a lot of visceral or not.
Yeah, and I know
But
like
BMI doesn't do
no.
a thing there.
One of my
Your weight
friends
doesn't do a
has
thing
a-
there.
body composition
Yes, scale.
machine
Yes.
that tells
Those
you
are
all this
popular
stuff.
at like gyms and stuff.
Yeah, one of my doctor friends has one.
I mean, I do find that very interesting.
What's the validity though is my question.
I
I
do
think
think
it
it's-
is.
yeah, I think it's pretty well
they're just
validated.
pricey to get initially.
I know,
I would
but
agree.
people pay anything for weight loss.
Right.
Yes, but the question, I mean, for me, I was just literally having this conversation with my mom because I am using a lot of the weight loss,
Totally.
because we are physicians who treat mainly women
Yep.
who are a lot of perimenopausal state.
Yep.
I am helping women manage weight loss a fair amount.
Yep.
And it would be very helpful for me if I'm using the GLP-1s to see exactly how much muscle mass
That's what my friend
Right.
uses it for when she puts someone on that. She was saying she does it initially and then she gives them the whole plan to make sure they're not losing muscle mass.
Yeah, I have people, before we even discuss GLP-1s, I need like documentation of protein intake and muscle building beforehand.
I mean, that is such a smart idea, because
it's like a non-negotiable.
I was just at a meeting at a gym and they have one of these very expensive machines. And they're saying they're seeing upwards of 40% muscle loss.
Right.
And then you're in a worse position going
than before.
forward.
I don't know why I've seen this, but in the patients that I have been giving GLP-1s, and I require this protocol of like, I need at least 100 grams of protein, if not your goal body weight in protein.
Yeah, ounces.
They want like a month.
Yeah.
30 minutes, 3 times a week of strength training. I don't see as many GI side effects.
I have gotten around the GI,
they're maintaining muscle mass, maybe.
I guess.
Or they're upping their protein so much they're not eating as much processed foods, or who knows. Okay.
I have actually seen decrease in GI side effects by starting them at microdose.
Totally.
0.25.
And then, I go lower than post. I go 0.15 or 0.1 on semaglutide, or 1 or 1.5 on tirzepatide.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you go slower, the body can accumulate. It is a little bit more expensive because they're not getting as much. They're not getting the weight loss.
But it might actually work. They might be able to stay on it. And I do think in terms of like engaging the immune system, because we know these drugs work partially by acting on the immune system and decreasing the inflammation. We're seeing like Crohn's reversed, endometriosis reversed, like
psoriasis. There's data on psoriasis
have
reversal.
Either of you had cases of any of those reversing?
I have.
I've had endo quiet down quite a bit.
I have had.
That's a known insulin resistance condition. Right?
There's overlap, but inflammatory. Yeah.
I have definitely had psoriasis reverse at higher doses. Have seen, I'm not going to say the IBDs have been magically responding, but I'm not.
There are case reports on it out there.
Yes, but also the IBD people are generally, they're malnourished, not overly nourished.
You don't have them on these meds for other
if
reasons.
I'm throwing some spaghetti, if I'm out of every other option, I might.
Yeah.
And there are some, I would say like men in their 50s, that might be people who drink a lot, are just like inflammatory loaded. That's a chunk of people. On the topic of inflammation, when we start to see this estrogen dominance, the subcutaneous fat gain, we also start to see low-grade inflammation start brewing for folks, specifically IL-6, TNF-alpha, CRP.
So all of those are also elevated in the autoimmune population. So just to say,
inflammation.
And now we have new drugs that are working directly and indirectly on IL-6.
Yep. And we have things besides drugs too.
Something besides drugs?
I mean, this
is the wrong podcast for
I know. I tell a lot of my patients, like, they're all just tools. Like, I'm a naturopath. I prescribe tons of drugs.
Yeah.
They're all tools, and I want the tools working.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to take them, tolerate them, and I want them to work. And thank goodness we have a big toolbox.
Yeah.
But we do have things outside of GLP-1s that do a lot of these things as well. But this increase in inflammation, it's often low grade. So, from a conventional lens, when we're looking at labs, a lot of the time it's like, are you way out of range or not? A lot of us will look at like, how are you trending? Or is your CRP a little bit higher than maybe it was last year? What's up with that?
I will just say, as a clinician that's been looking at these, so the cardiac CRPs, I look at those more. That is one of the most stubborn markers to move.
Totally.
And I will say the GLPs, I have a certain population that are on the GLP-1s.
Yeah.
And because we're bringing their insulin down and their glucose down, that CRP is going down.
Totally. Yes. That's exactly it. That's exactly what we're talking about today.
Ooh, I nailed it.
And in perimenopause, we see this trend, this insulin resistance go up. And for insulin, you guys are checking it sometimes?
Yes, I'm checking
12-hour fasting insulin. Labs are not terribly consistent with this marker.
What does that mean?
They don't freeze it. Like, labs don't always process it correctly. So I don't hang my hat totally on it. I'll usually do like a couple checks of it, try to get different labs if I can. Yeah. But like, if it's a lab that isn't going to freeze their samples right away or something, it's not worth ordering.
Good to know.
But ranges, I start looking at it if there's a trend up, if they were at like a 4 and now are an 8.
This is in your stock panel?
It's in my stock panel for anyone in their like mid 30s and up.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for perimenopausal reasons, or if people have signs and symptoms of insulin resistance or risk factors like the way they're eating or family history. Do you have
a range you want to see it under?
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all, but you start to get my attention when you're in the 8 or 9 realm.
Oh, really? That low?
Yes, because we start talking about things. You also get my attention if it's under 3.
Because then you're
under 4.
You're thinking diabetic.
Well, then I'm thinking you need more protein.
Huh.
Your insulin regulation is just a little bit off. People will feel like, I look for low ALK phos, low insulin.
You were linking low ALK phos to insulin resistance?
So the low ALK phos is debatable. And what I have seen clinically, people like to talk about that being like low magnesium or zinc or something.
Yeah, zinc.
I don't know.
I've never, okay, wait. I know. I've treated people with zinc for a decade. It never changed the ALK phos.
Yeah.
So I've taken that one off the shelf.
Protein.
But this is interesting.
Protein changes it.
Huh.
And
Changes
as someone,
the fasting insulin?
No, it
and
changes the ALK
phos.
phos. A low ALK phos.
both.
Oh,
in women. I don't have a lot on men with this, but we don't teach women how to eat protein. We don't. And protein's having a minute on the internet. Like, I will say that, and I think there's a lot of overkill with it, and there is no one size fits all.
Just as an aside, just today in my inbox through WebMD or whatever. No, MD. What's the one through Hippocrates at the newsletter? Medscape. Through Medscape.
Yeah.
The title was, "Are we over proteining our population?"
Some people, yes.
Yeah.
Some people, yes. But there's a big jump from what we teach women to eat, how we teach women to eat, and what like over protein eating, you know. And what I like to tell a lot of my folks is the best diet advice we give women is you're kind of like a male, but don't eat that much because you're going to get fat. And that's it. That's like the advice we give women for your life. And then like go live your life. And then you see body changes and you're like, what the heck? I've been doing that. Or worse, like I've been so restricting in perimenopause, I'm still gaining weight. Protein can help. And that doesn't mean you only eat protein. That doesn't mean you turn into a carnivore diet. Sometimes for some people, yes. But like, are you even getting 50 grams of protein? And do you want to talk about breakfast protein?
Oh, 20 grams of breakfast for sure.
At least.
Okay. So let me give you guys some formulas. If we're talking about for bone mass and protein, the formula is 1.3 grams of protein for every kilogram body weight to reverse bone deterioration that happens in the perimenopausal and menopausal
kilogram,
states. Not pound.
Yep, not
kilogram.
Pound. Yep.
So 1.3 grams for every kilogram body weight. Formulation is 2.2, right? 2.2 kilograms to pound. 2.2 pounds in a kilogram. Yeah. Formulation for muscle mass that I've heard, mainly coming out of what's that Dr. Gabrielle Lines, I think. She's the one who studies sarcopenia and aging and muscle. Right. Her calculation, which is crazy, is 1 gram of protein for every pound desired body weight. Yeah. So if you want to be 120 pounds, you're going to need 120 grams of protein. Yeah. If you're doing my calculation, you're going to need about 80 grams of protein.
Right. So, and that's a full-time job for a lot of people. Yeah, we were never taught to do that. A lot of the times I'll start with breakfast. Okay. So can you give me 25 grams? And I will give people recipes. I give people protein powder recommendations. Like I will just like get this in your face in the morning. And I don't care when you eat in the morning. If you're hungry, eat. If it's not till 11, eat. You know, I just want your first meal because that's what sets off your insulin regulation for the day. And I'm not like, you have to eat breakfast at 8. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Protein, though, I'm like adamant. And we start there.
20 grams, you want 20 grams. And it's hard to do.
25 or 30, depending.
It's hard to do if you're not eating eggs or bacon.
Even with eggs.
6.
2 eggs is 12 grams.
Eggs won't do it.
Yeah, no. So what are you having people do?
So I will give people recipes for like, because I have a lot of like moms as patients, and I'm not going to like make a full meal breakfast in the morning. Like I need it easy. Overnight oat recipes with like Greek yogurt, hemp, protein powder, chia. You know, your kids can kind of have one, put berries in it or whatever, although protein would be good. You scoop some protein powder into it.
So you're relying on protein powders a lot?
Sometimes.
Okay.
And there's one I recommend that is like the only one I found that's not an ultra processed food because they just have so many additives and they're not tolerated.
What is that? So what is the one you like?
It's a brand, right? So it's pea and rice?
It's beef protein isolate.
Oh,
that's it.
Whey is also the perfect
if you
protein.
Tolerate it. If you tolerate it. I don't really care. They can be expensive. I think protein powders are disgusting. That's one way to do it is overnight oats, and you can sort of add whatever you want to it, or any overnight grain, you know, whatever. Breakfast burritos where you get like a high protein tortilla or a tortilla, and then you can do like an egg bake where you just crack a bunch of eggs, put some like chicken sausage or whatever you want in there, veggies, beans. Yeah. And then load it up.
I'm hungry now.
I know.
Do you have any of that?
But you can batch prep it. You know, you kind of like make this bake of eggs, cut it, throw a chunk into each burrito, freeze it. That's easier. So those are like 2 staples for folks. You can make high protein waffles you freeze ahead of time.
I will just say, so I drink a matcha latte. My matcha latte has collagen, 10 grams, inulin, prebiotic fibers, good for your microbiome, matcha. And then I am having a soy milk moment. My husband was like, why is there soy milk? And I was like, that's not for you. That's for me.
It is higher protein.
It's higher protein and it's estrogenic for my soy.
Just
you know
get
what
organic.
I mean?
Just get organic. Yep.
And so, but that's
which could be good because then you're blocking the
Right.
natural spikes of
Exactly.
estrogen.
Exactly.
So it could be good for.
yeah. So that's why
maybe
what
I'll
I'm
switch
doing.
my matcha latte to soy milk.
It also
Yeah.
is so creamy. Just as an aside, I know soy is done with its moment. It had its moment like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
I
bring
love
it back.
soy.
creamy.
Bring it back.
Yeah, no,
Perimenopause
I love
is a great
soy.
time for
Yeah.
it.
So that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Good idea.
But
So-
I will say, in my experience with having women try to up their protein, it's very hard to do. It's very hard for me to do.
Yep. You start small. And the other thing I'll have people do is commit to like get your recipes ready, get your grocery shopping ready. I want only snacks in the house that are high protein. Give me 2 weeks.
Nice and slow.
Commit to it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I want 100 grams a day for 2 weeks
Yeah.
is what I say. And then at the end of it, if you feel worse and you hate it, go back to what you were doing. That has never happened.
I've never eaten 100
But if you
grams
feel
of protein.
better, if you try it. If you feel better, then you know what it feels like.
Yeah.
And like I'm not perfect, but man, I'm a different human if I eat that much protein.
What is interesting to me is if I start my day with protein, I do not go searching for sweets all
Yeah.
day long.
I know.
If I start my day with sweets, I am literally looking for my next fix.
Yeah. I know. The energy's better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff happening behind
Yeah.
that with insulin. Like there's a reason that we
Yeah.
all feel better.
Oh, we've all got to make some changes.
I
Not
know.
all. Maybe
I
me.
know.
I start with some dark chocolate and coffee.
That's what you start your day.
It's not great for your
But it's
cortisol. I mean,
85%.
Do you have a
sounds
sweetener in your matcha
amazing for
latte?
the record.
It's like 1 gram of sugar.
No, do
in
you
the
have a
packet.
sweetener in your matcha?
It's 1 gram.
Oh.
It's in the matcha latte.
Oh, you
So
know
if I
what?
switch to the soy milk
Yes.
in my coffee and my matcha
Are you
latte,
adding collagen or some kind of?
I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm
We're
Indian.
judging you. Do you see it?
I don't do those kind of animal products.
Oh,
but
that makes
I
sense.
could
yeah.
find something else.
Well, there's marine collagen.
It's true. It's disgusting.
Is it? I've
it's-
never
it's
tried it.
Really gross.
It tastes
I
bad.
don't know. I haven't had it.
But the
that sounds
soy
Sounds
milk, the soy milk's
it
an
fishy?
easy.
I would be surprised because collagen isn't beefy.
It's got a bit
It's
of a
disgusting.
thing.
If you've ever tried it.
Okay,
It's
you've
got a
tried
bit
it.
of a
I
thing.
think
Okay,
I've tried
I believe
it.
you.
It's
I believe
disgusting.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to cut out the dark chocolate starch in my day.
I mean, I feel more you
Try
need
some
to add in the protein.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think the dark chocolate is an antioxidant. It's not a lot of sugar in
It's
there.
something to look forward to before the day starts.
Yeah, I don't think you need to cut out the
I did
dark
not
chocolate.
need to hear this because that actually sounds wonderful.
With a little bit of coffee, with a latte coffee, then a matcha latte on top of that. That's how I start my day.
That explains a lot.
You are productive.
I know.
But I think like when I make the frittata on Sunday for the
Yeah.
week, it does go better. It's not something that can be
Even
done
though we
every
are now
week.
discussing Dr. Kapadia and I need hobbies, we really have none.
I know. I
Cooking.
should cook more. I know.
Yeah.
I thought about it yesterday when I had free time. I just didn't act on it.
No, because then I made you come over to my house.
So maybe
I
today.
think you guys
wanna-
are each other's hobby.
Yeah, I mean that
wanna
is
make,
true.
I want to make zucchini banana bread because we've got so many
Oh, yeah.
zucchinis. And I think I could add there's like a pumpkin protein powder now that's just pumpkin seed crushed up into a powder. So I thought that might be good for minerals.
You know what I've been doing lately too as a substitute is cottage cheese.
I am having a cottage cheese moment.
in the
It's
baked
so
goods?
good.
I'm making pasta sauces with cottage cheese.
Ooh.
One or A2
dressings.
casein.
I know.
Yeah, see, I'm not
But
going to add more
I
A1
think I'm one of the
casein.
unicorns that does
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not-
I
I
do
don't
great.
wanna add
Actually, I do
A1.
fine with A1.
I know. It's rare, but
Okay,
I
but
do a
not.
mix of both. But
Cottage cheese.
It's
First of all,
I do enjoy cottage
it's
cheese.
insane how much protein it
There's
has.
a lot of protein.
We are
Salty.
eating as much cottage cheese as we ate in the 1970s, which was
Yeah.
cottage cheese's peak.
Yeah,
It's having
that's
its
right.
second
It's
peak.
good with
Yeah.
applesauce,
Do you like,
like
it
chunky
savory or
applesauce.
sweet?
Both.
Yeah, I know.
Do they
Oh,
make
no.
an A2?
I have not found
I don't know.
one,
All right,
but
I'm
if,
not
keep me
sure.
posted.
if you know of one, let us know.
Okay.
because I'm
Also,
shopping.
the other thing is, cottage cheese does count as a
I
fermented
know,
food.
it's a win-win.
It's high protein. It's delicious,
Yeah.
and it's fermented.
So you can stick it in a blender and turn it
Oh.
into a creamy sauce.
Oh yeah,
Huh.
that would be
For
really
anything.
good.
You can dip veggies in it, you know.
You
That
can make
sounds
my
delicious.
favorite thing is actually cottage cheese pancakes.
Yes.
So you
Oh,
mix
that would
it
be
with
delicious.
eggs and maybe an almond flour for your
Yep.
flour. That is a high protein snack,
That would be
Amazing.
really
and it's
good.
creamy and delicious if
Ugh,
you can tolerate dairy.
Put butter on it.
Yeah, especially if it's from France. Done
Love
and done.
butter. I love butter. Okay. So does my kid. She'll
Mm.
just take a thing of butter,
Uh-huh.
a Kerrygold or whatever, and just gnaw on it.
I mean, she is your child.
I know.
She has been
is.
taught
I'm
that
so
that's
proud.
okay.
I'm so proud. It is.
That's-
It brings me joy.
Yeah.
I think I have an addiction.
Okay, the question is, do they do all this in France, or do they just age better than us over here? When you go,
They
ask
walk.
the women in their 40s.
They walk.
Yeah,
that
they
takes
walk.
care of all this because they're not doing 100 grams of. They're eating a pastry in the morning.
They do better with protein.
Do they?
So it floors me. Like I'll be sitting in cafes watching, like friends
Dr.
get
Stan
together.
goes to France every few
I
weeks.
love France. It's my
Every
other
few weeks,
addiction. It's my other addiction. And they do a lot of beef tartare
For breakfast?
for lunch and dinner.
Okay.
Which is literally like a wad of raw beef with an egg in it.
Yeah, no, that's pretty hunter-gatherer right there.
But the breakfast, don't they do like...
They do bread for breakfast.
Yeah.
Bread and coffee, like your breakfast.
Yeah.
They probably do dark chocolate too.
I do bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I do the cinnamon raisin keto bread.
They'll put like milk in it, you know, sometimes. And but I don't see that.
But they seem fine, but they're walking like 10 miles after breakfast. So maybe that, it doesn't matter.
And I think their food system and their agricultural practices,
I mean,
do
that
take the edge off, let's say.
Yeah. And their long dinners, they take 6 hours to eat every meal.
I think even the doctors go for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Is this accurate? The doctors even go for lunch?
I just wanted, do you see her shock?
When is the last time?
Even the doctors go for lunch.
Doctor taking lunch?
It is insane.
When is the last time we got a lunch break? Like a real lunch break?
My boss is an a-hole.
You're your
My
own
boss doesn't give exactly. I don't give a. I have a 30-minute. I have a 30-minute.
But you don't
You're doing
sit
better
and eat
than
lunch. You're not like sitting and eating lunch, and you're definitely not going to lunch.
No.
Yeah.
My accountant the other day was like, he was like telling me how to log certain things for business purposes or whatever. And he was like, yeah, and be sure to log in and out of your lunch break. And I was like,
log in where? Where the hell? Who's tracking this time?
Apparently me, because I'm also my boss. I was like, I haven't taken a lunch break. Like, that's a nice idea. That's a great idea.
Is your boss also an a-hole? Because my boss is a wicked
now that you
big
mention it, I think she's pretty rough.
Yeah,
I
don't know. I don't recommend working for her.
You used to manage your husband's schedule, and he'd have like a break, and he'd be like, yeah, Ilana's going to make me fill that. And I was like, but you need a break.
I will say, I think that our kids are going to be okay because they have one sane parent, and it's definitely not me.
That's all you need. I give mine butter. I give mine butter, which is, that's my gift to the world. Okay, should we go back to...
All right. Okay, last thing on lunch. If my husband does retire early, he was thinking to set up a food cart in my parking lot with an Indian food truck.
Yes.
It's probably not going to be allowed.
Can you stop by my clinic?
Oh my God, that would be so
good. He could do a local delivery service with a hot tiffin for a few people on the days he's not surfing.
You know that where I work would fund that entire food truck.
I feel like people would be so happy to get like real food for lunch.
The problem with this theory is he doesn't want to be running a food truck. He wants to be surfing or foiling.
He'll come home to serve the lunch.
Got it.
Okay,
I like this idea.
The last.
Okay,
anyway,
so we talked about estrogen. We talked about insulin resistance.
Yes.
We talked about fat buildup. I want to talk about perimenopause.
Okay.
So, because at the same time in perimenopause, our progesterone goes up or down?
Down.
So, progesterone modulates GABA.
We learned that last episode. Yep. Listen to it. It was a really good episode.
It modulates our appetite control.
It does? Progesterone modulates our appetite control.
Maybe because it puts the brake on like anxiety and with GABA and such, I guess.
And our glucose tolerance. So all of these go down as well. We see carb cravings. We see reactive hypoglycemia, which I will often see before insulin going up. Insulin might be totally fine. It might be like a 4 or something, wonderful. Yeah. But they'll have symptoms of that reactive hypoglycemia. The other thing I wanted to say is for people who have recently had children in their life, like I'd say in the last 10 years, that protein thing, game changer.
For the children or for you?
For the parents, for the moms, for the birthing person. Like so many women are tired. So many moms are tired.
Yeah.
And it takes so much nutrition to grow a human, let alone a couple. And as we send them into perimenopause, they're still nutrient deficient. I mean, a lot of us know that about ferritin, but man, protein, like teach women how to eat protein.
Okay, here's another one. My sister-in-law made like an enchilada bake. It's like corn tortilla with black beans and cheese and veggies, like pretty simple. But I wonder if you could make it with like the Ezekiel corn tortillas.
Yeah, so and then add like some sausage in there, some chicken sausage or something like that,
or egg.
And egg.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just need someone to make the food for me so that I have
there are meal delivery services. I have a text macro, basically, of really high quality meal delivery services. It's possible.
It's possible.
You can buy your way out of this problem.
I am just going to say, if you put Greek yogurt on everything.
It's true.
Or cottage cheese.
I'm
more likely to, so just as an aside, I went to the farmer's market and I got cottage cheese. And it was
like locally made?
Yes. Well, no, it was a dry cottage cheese.
Not good?
No.
I've never had dry cottage cheese.
Put milk on it?
No, because I don't have milk in the house. I mean, I have soy milk in the house.
Who drinks milk?
I'm just going to buy.
I do. I started drinking milk again. I love it.
When? In like the last 6 months?
Yes, because it used to give me like a weird mouthfeel. It doesn't anymore. So there are reasons for that one.
I don't know anyone that drinks milk.
But it's the protein.
I mean, it is high protein.
Yeah, it is high protein.
Shouldn't you be drinking like half and half or whole milk?
I do that too.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because it's a side of butter with your side of butter.
Butter
I'm going to make you yogurt with a glass of milk and a side of butter.
happily will eat that. I come from a long line of Norwegians.
Yeah, lots of dairy.
I know. No, I think milk is my happy drink. And it's like not sugary. It's I drink a lot of water too. Anyway. Yep. So back to progesterone. We see, I just want to recap this.
I need to make a grocery list.
Progesterone. We should write a cookbook, the Turd Nerds cookbook.
Because we have so much free time.
I need to get soy milk today, frittata ingredients, black bean enchilada ingredients. I'm going to forget by the time we're done.
Do you think people would buy something called the Turd Nerds cookbook?
Probably.
We probably shouldn't have turd in the title.
I think we have to workshop that one.
Okay, let's go back to progesterone. Yeah. So modulates GABA, appetite control, glucose tolerance. When that goes down, we see all these problems. We also see it relate to increased fasting insulin and abdominal weight gain. Because a lot of the fat cells that we're talking about in these different parts of the body are particularly sensitive to estrogen. Mm-hmm. And when we don't have that progesterone to balance it out, they're like, wow, where did all this estrogen come from? Let's thrive and grow and expand. Yeah. So that's a problem. Let's jump into that estrogen drop then. So this is late perimenopause or perimenopause and menopause.
Going into menopause.
So there are a bunch of pathways implicated in this. I'm just going to list them off. They're a little bit beyond my pay grade, but we've got enhancement of GLUT4 expression, AMP kinase activity, and as we talked about before, hepatic glucose production directly via estrogen receptors. So that gets upregulated. And then
can you say, so there's an upregulation in the GLUT4
in perimenopause with that estrogen dominance.
Okay. With the GLUT4 and the, what are the three?
AMP kinase activity.
Okay.
And hepatic glucose production.
So metformin could help.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But totally. That's a treatment even episode, temporarily. And I don't think this is our treatment episode.
But it could be a temporary intervention.
It totally is. Metformin acts on the microbiome.
Yes, it does.
So, as it turns out, it's all connected.
Interesting. Are we going to talk about that?
In our treatment episode.
We just did. So we see increased hepatic output of glucose, which is gluconeogenesis or glycogenolysis. Both happen in insulin resistance too. And it's this bad catch-22.
Where you're trying to make more insulin to get it to store, but you can't make enough. And so now you have more insulin circulating and also more glucose circulating.
And and the liver's just shooting stuff out. So,
And I will say,
elevated glucose in the blood.
What my female patients who are suffering tell me is they feel like in their 20s, they could put on the brakes.
Yeah.
But in their 40s, in their perimenopausal state, they just could, they start eating and they cannot stop the carb cravings. They can't, it's no longer able to put on the brakes.
Oh, I've always had that.
Yeah, but you also were so restricted.
You don't eat protein for breakfast.
That's true. That's probably why I'm eating dark chocolate all day long.
Try it. I feel like a champ.
I know. You've been talking about this for years.
I know. It works.
Okay, we should also talk about berberine.
You know how I always say that psyllium could put me out of business if people took it?
And protein. Psyllium and so you could do psyllium with protein.
I'm telling you,
breakfast.
And water. If I could get people to eat protein, drink water, and take some psyllium, there you go, turds. Go live your life.
I am afraid that might put us out of business, Dr. Sand.
The thing is, people don't do it. So
That's a good point.
Who wants to drink a cup of psyllium first?
No, you do the pills.
I am so pilled out. I am so pilled out. Yeah, I'm so pilled out. Okay, go on.
Okay, we should talk about berberine in the treatment.
I've got it.
Okay,
great. Docked up.
Okay.
We're just not there yet.
Just making
We're not
sure.
there yet. Okay, so decreased estrogen leads to that visceral fat. This is where we start to see that visceral fat accumulate. So adding estrogen, a little bit into treatment, can help with the visceral fat.
Oh, yeah.
Say that again.
Adding bioidentical estrogen.
Okay, so let me go
translate.
Back. Yeah. Decrease as you are losing your estrogen, as you're moving out of the perimenopausal state into the menopausal state, you have an increase of your visceral fat that makes all of these things worse.
Okay.
So adding HRT or bioidentical hormone replacement can affect or down-regulate that visceral fat
deposition. Okay.
That's it. Yeah. And these folks are we know that menopause sends you into risk for all sorts of things, dementia, that drop in estrogen, dementia, bone mineral density loss, fatty liver.
Sarcopenia
is another one. Yeah. Any metabolic syndrome, diabetes, all of that. So, and then the other thing that I just wanted to bring up is that we also see the dysbiosis from that lower estrogen. And that dysbiosis directly, as we talked about in the last episode, causes glucose dysregulation. Very much by that short chain fatty acid, those families being decreased.
So basically, we see changes in the microbiome where the beneficial species that make short chain fatty acids
in the large
are
intestine
down regulating, and that is causing a worsening of dysbiosis, which leads to more inflammation, more intestinal permeability, and just a worse outcome.
Yeah. And one thing I learned from Jason Harlach, another naturopathic physician, was he really emphasizes, at least the course that I took at some point, he really emphasizes enhancing the butyrate producers, not giving butyrate, but like building up your microbiome to feed the bugs.
That smells disgusting.
I will also say,
people will bring it in to show me.
Was very naysay butyrate for a long time.
It seemed to help people.
I am noticing I think I have locked in who we use it with.
Yeah. I think there's benefit. I also just think we can't forsake building up the populations that do this for you, because I mean, we know about the colon cancer, we know about all that. It's like epithelial integrity. It depends on our short chain fatty acids. So many things depend on that. So does our insulin resistance.
Whoa, crazy. Okay.
So as if we needed another reason, like balance out your microbiome, folks. Support it. Eat fiber. Eat fermented foods if you can tolerate them. Okay. The last thing here, before we dive into one little other segment here, is LPS, endotoxemia. So what do we know about LPS?
Basically, it's inflammatory. It's secreted when there's more of an inflammatory byproduct.
Bacterial.
From bacteria.
In the GI tract.
It induces leaky gut. Its ability to go through is because of leaky gut. It's this bad cascade that is linked to just about every condition on the planet.
Yeah.
Like chronic inflammation. It's one of the main mediators of chronic inflammation with cancer, with diabetes, with everything, mental health, like all of that. So we know that LPS-induced endotoxemia from gut bacteria, like you just said, contributes to chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. So in a healthy gut, this barrier, when our intestinal epithelium is intact, prevents translocation of that LPS. However, when the gut barrier integrity is compromised, which could be something as simple as SIBO, LPS leaks into circulation, triggering this metabolic endotoxemia, which is a main driver of insulin resistance, specifically because of macrophage infiltration into our cells, into our organs, and everything, mitochondrial dysfunction, oxidative stress, and then a bunch of cytokine pathways that I don't understand.
I mean, that's
a lot.
It's so toxic. It is a disease of the modern world.
Yeah, it is. And we can help people at a minimum with their gut, because that's how it's leaking. Like that is how it starts, is gut bacteria passing through when it shouldn't. We can fix it. We can fix leaky gut. We can fix the underlying causes.
Yes.
Don't miss that. And that is especially important in perimenopause.
Yes. I mean, I feel like that's what I've gotten out of the last 2 episodes is the microbiome is the key, or not the key, but it's one of the legs on the stool to helping females thrive in this hormonal change.
Yeah. And I do want to say, I talk about this so much, but this isn't just perimenopause. This is endometriosis. This is PCOS. This is premature ovarian insufficiency, fertility issues. Like it is that's why I love it, because I love the microbiome. I love talking about it and studying it. It's just such a key route in that gets missed in medicine.
Yep.
And it can be the complete game changer for quality of life, whatever you want to do with your body, success. So the last thing I want to touch on here is sort of the junction of aging in general.
Oh, yeah.
How it ties into like mental health and brain fog and all those sorts of things, gut-brain axis and the microbiome. And I just want to like cap it off with this, because perimenopause is a natural state of aging. So is menopause. But like in aging, our bodies change, our mediators change. So immunosenescence or inflammaging, that's sort of the hot term right now, is worsened by microbiome imbalances.
Which makes perfect sense.
In our estrogen depleted states. So here's another like triad we need to talk about. Specifically, we see a decline in T cells, an increase in NK cells, B cells and neutrophils start to get weird, and we see heightened baseline inflammation. And we can stave off a ton of this inflammation by balancing the gut for folks. So it's a two-way street. But we also see this gut-brain axis disruption through both of these layers, through vagal nerve tone, through all of this, which is going to make the anxiety, sleep disturbance, depressive symptoms in menopause worse. So if, your patient's coming to you in perimenopause, depressed and anxious for any reason, don't forget that gut-brain axis support is a huge route in to support them for this reason. And that inflammaging, like a big driver of it is inflammation through the gut. So now we'll get to treatments, but think melatonin. We lose melatonin as we age. Our pineal gland just doesn't produce it. And that can help with just about everything we talked about here.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get to way more on our next episode.
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
And I think that I forget how core insulin resistance is to so many pathologies.
Yeah.
And I think you did a great job summarizing.
Yep,
so quick summation of what we learned. Insulin resistance happens as we age. It happens when your dietary response changes. It could potentially get worse because of the drop in estrogen that's happening. One of the ways to reverse it is protein.
Protein in the morning.
Protein
Sorry,
in
I
the
went back
morning.
to my grocery list. She says 100 grams. I would say just do what you can do. Eat protein in the morning. You'll crave less carbohydrates
Just
during the
be
day. It'll help with the
mindful.
visceral fat deposition.
Yeah.
Right?
Be
Yes.
mindful of protein on your plate and like bulk up on that. A lot of us don't need to think harder than that. If you can get a higher protein thing on your plate, do that.
And just another resource I will say is the Glucose Goddess is a website.
Oh yeah, she's really good.
She's
French.
phenomenal. She's French.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's really
She's a
good.
biochemist.
She has a book too.
Yeah, and a website and an
Cookbook.
app. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's
her
really good.
rule, if I can boil down her rule, it's fiber first, protein second, carbs last.
Yep.
That is how you should be eating every meal. And please, for the sake of your migrating motor complex, stop snacking.
Don't snack unless you're pregnant or breastfeeding. You do need to snack then, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't snack with stress.
Don't snack
with boredom.
Yes, and if you do snack, have protein. Eat protein. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Dr.
Thanks,
Sam.
Turds.
Thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned. We release episodes every 2 weeks.
If you like this episode, please subscribe and don't forget to rate and review us to help spread the Turd Nerd word.